Cette écoute Lexi B.
Okay, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you. It's a pleasure to discuss with you today.
It is an honor. I unfortunately have not been in your physical presence, even though like I really want to. Um, but I have followed you online for years, and I think what you do, but more importantly, how you show up in the most powerful, proud self, I just find so inspiring. It's incredible. It's incredible. So if no one told you that, girl, I see it and I am here for it.
Oh, thank you so much. I really appreciate. Thank you.
So where are your people from? Let's get started there.
Yes, so I'm originally from Cameroon, so African descent. I'm born and raised in Paris,
Yes.
where I grew up, where I am born, where I started my strong and powerful career, where I educate myself from the very beginning. And now I'm still in Paris after 3 years and a half in Stockholm, Sweden. So yeah, that's who I am and where I am from.
Tell me what it means to be an immigrant, a black immigrant in Paris. What is that like?
I can't really consider myself as an immigrant because I gave
True.
my first breath here. Even if I constantly observe how is it to be an immigrant in Europe, because I used to be the past 3 years. And for me, it was the first time that I experienced to be an immigrant in Europe because it's not the country where I am born. So Sweden overall teach me a lot when it comes to that. And from this part of my journey, it's already something that I'm gonna have inside of my body and in my mind forever because I gained so much experience on the personal note, who helped me to reflect how it's to be a black woman, lady in a corporate world in the Nordics region. So I used to be in another country in Europe, but I am not really in Paris, especially in France.
So you are a global marketing leader. You you come into communities, you come into companies, and not only are you probably building marketing strategy and how we're going to do this, but also teaching people along the way. My
Hmm.
first question for you is that when you were little, is this what you wanted to do? Did you
Not really, to
know
be
when
honest.
you were a little girl?
Of course, yes. I used to discuss this a lot, especially with my son today. When I was young, I wanted to be a lawyer, uh, and I had my first experience in a company, in a law firm. For me, it was an incredible experience, and I was really sure until high school that I wanted to be a lawyer. Um, but let's say the high school fall at that time that my record wasn't sufficient to succeed in the university. So unfortunately, I decided to keep my second option as a communicator in the advertising space. And this journey led me to where I am today as a brand leader with different experience in between, of course. But no, I didn't want it to be a brand leader when I was young. So it's a funny question.
And since you've built your career, we were discussing earlier, is that one of one of your great skill sets is leading by encouraging different types of people to come to the table. Tell me more about that. How do we teach people that making sure everyone who needs to be involved in the decision making? So if you're in marketing, we still need to talk to the CFO. And so tell me more about that lesson on how you lead and teach people that you have to talk to other people in order to get
Of
things
course.
done.
Yeah, definitely. Being a modern marketer require a lot of personal skills, I would say, which are, first of all, the capacity to work with different people from different backgrounds. And saying that allows me to the next point, which is the future of the company. I truly believe that the modern company who have the best strategy are the company that believe in the multicultural landscape for every single part of their department. I used to work for big firm tech companies with so many different nationalities, and it was very interesting because you learn from different backgrounds. So those personal skill sets makes you feel that you're gonna be in a massive ecosystem, and is not the education background who's going to teach you that. I don't know if you got me on this, but it's your personal ability to adapt yourself in a global world, and to be more open-minded when it comes to discuss everything that felt very important for you, because you can't work on the single department for a single slot for a unique product, because it doesn't work like that. You need to discuss with everyone, even if it's not necessarily your expertise, but to make sure that the product works well and it's going to be efficient to the markets. The department of communication or marketer, you call it whatever you want to call it, because it really depends on the company and the size of it. You should be open and efficient, I would say. And for me, there is 3 key points which require to be resilient, allows you to be more open-minded when it comes to embrace the culture of the industry where you are working with, and also to make sure that the decision that you need to have with your team is going to be impactful the way that you really want, and make sure that your goals are also aligned with this.
When you first started in your career and you decided that you wanted to move up into the C suite, what was one of the first skill sets that you said, I have to learn this in order to progress? What was that?
Oh, that's a great question. Honestly, this particular statement, it's really new. I can't say that from the very beginning I wanted to be an executive. But I knew that I need to learn constantly. And what I'm doing right now is to make sure that I have the criterias, because in today's environment, it's very easy to auto-acknowledge yourself as a brand executive or brand director. But when you jump on a position that require a lot of management tasks, and you just understand that there is a gap between what you talk from the beginning and what you have on the table, there is a lack. So I can say the first thing that came to my mind was the leadership. The leadership, it's very important today because as an executive, you have so many tasks to manage. And first of all, you manage an entire division, but also the profit and loss of your products. So it requires a lot of skill sets that I just found interesting to understand from now, and to make sure that the next move from me, I will be very prepared. So yeah, that's for me the biggest point. It was the leadership.
In this scenario, though, are we defining leadership as making sure the product gets done well, or how we treat people who work for us? Because there's a distinction, right?
Yeah, of course. Um, and the tricky part of that is that you need to make sure that both works well, right? Because as a leader, you grow personally, but you also grow professionally, and you need to teach everyone in your team to grow from themselves, but also to teach them how to make sure that their strategy works well. Um, so it's a personal management, but also a team effort management that needs to be shaped by your vision, which is a big task. So I can't say that everyone can be a global leader or a CMO, because it really depends of your personal goals, to be honest. For me, it's a huge statement to explain how social media managers can be the future CMO, because they have the overall agenda when it comes to communication of the company, especially in the corporate space, because this vision can also work as an independent, but it really depends of what is your personal goals in your career. So that's my point of view. But I'm sure that there is so many on the table, yeah, to discuss.
Tell me about how social media has disrupted traditional marketing, right? I do, I'm not going to say how old I am, okay? But growing up, there was no social media for me.
Yeah.
So it was definitely traditional marketing all over the world, right? Commercials, billboards, posters, toys. Like, I tell people, I'm like, I remember when you had to go to a physical store to buy a gift, right? I couldn't press a button on my phone and it come to my home. But now we have social media, which we cannot deny is a very powerful driver in how companies make money. As
Definitely.
a very renowned marketer like yourself, who's seen both sides, tell me more about how is I guess the question is social media marketing different than the old school marketing ways? What is the difference? Is there a new strategy?
Yes, of course. Social media landscape right now, it's massively entertainment. When you look at TikTok, for example, because it's the biggest discussion that the whole world used to have the past 72 hours because of the ban in the United States. TikTok, they consider themselves as an entertainment platform, not as a social media space, which is very different because you just bring your TikTok skills and creativity on the platform to discover content, to discover new title, new music, songs, but also different creators. It's the worldwide agenda and trends on everything that happened in the world, in the various industry. It could be sport, it could be food, it could be film, it could be everything, to be honest. So when you think about how we shape our brain and how marketers decide to invest a campaign or the always on content, because now every brand should be present and active at least every day on the old platforms, which requires a lot of time, a lot of energy, and also another structure of the internal organization, because it's a lot of production. I always say to companies and clients that being active and constant on TikTok need sufficient production capacity, because most of the time we just think about the content itself, but it's a lot of production, to be honest. And as such, we have a lot of formats which are TikTok short video, which are TikTok stories, which include also the live, and now you can have the visual. I think it's a lot of production that needs to be understood, which is not the same if you jump on another platform like Blue Sky, that I really like. I just subscribed 3 months ago, and I really believe in this platform, on this one, because they just gain a lot of users because X wasn't the platform anymore for many individuals, especially experts, scientists, and researchers. So they just gain organic new subscribers. I also admire FanDuel, which is an incredible platform because you can monetize your content and your creativity. And this guy founded it in 2019, I think during the COVID. And since then, he just iterates his product. So I really admire this new social media platform. But to discuss the global agenda of the massive giants, which are Meta family, for example, or YouTube, who is part of Google, there is a new line right now, which is more politic, I would say. And we call it tech diplomacy. So it's more stronger, but it's also more problematic for many. So yeah, there is a new reality of making marketing on social media platforms, which is completely different than 10 years ago. And look at my top 3 favorite brand on social. And they have a completely different approach, to be honest. I think Wendy's is really nice. Wendy's are really powerful on social. They know how to engage with their audience, especially when it comes to finding the hack between the social conversation and the brand purpose. They are capable to create an entire product to make their audience happy. And I think it's a bold statement because it's not every brand we can do that, right? You need to have a full connection with your final customer. So I really admire this brand, to be honest. Another example can be Telfar. Telfar, it's an incredible Black-owned fashion brand. They are super strong when it comes to live shopping. They did so many activation to engage their clients. And the beautiful part of this brand is they know how to maintain the desire for the brand. And I think it's like incredible. I love this brand and I don't have any product from them because I couldn't buy it. It's already sold out and I'm constantly late. So
You don't have a Telfar bag?
I don't have. And
Do
I think
I need to get one for you? Do I need to send it? Do I need to, what color do you want?
I know that they're gonna open a new shop, right? The first shop, right, in New York. I'm not really sure if it's
Yes.
this month or the next.
Yes. Yes.
So yeah, the story behind this man, it's impressive, and it starts from the beginning, from like $0. Let's say it was very organic from the very beginning. And I really appreciate his efforts. For me, it's massive. It's a beautiful case. So yeah, that's my second favorite brand, I would say. And probably the last one, I can name Patagonia because the brand purpose, it's incredible, especially the corporate aspect of the brand. Not that the company now is owned by the nature, not about this specific statement, but prior to that, they used to launch full program for parents in the company who don't have a space to keep their baby at nurse or everywhere. So you can just come to the space and at work with your newborn. And I found it very useful, especially for the corporate America. I don't know if it's global, if it's a statement who works in Spain or Italy or in another markets, but for the specific context of America, I found that it's a bold statement, to be honest, because it costs a lot. So yeah, those three brands are a pure gem for me.
As a new mom, having to navigate living in the United States, taking care of my baby, and also finding her a place to go to while me and her dad work. Companies like Patagonia are beautiful, because it's a reminder of the humanization that these people that work for you are also humans. And I really appreciate that as a parent.
Yeah, and I truly believe that it's not just a statement. I really found the approach very sincere from the company perspective. I don't work there, but I found that it was very important and honest. Yeah.
So tell me about your book, because you are also a writer.
Yes.
You are also a writer.
Yeah, I published 4
So
years ago.
we have to talk about it. We got to talk about it. So tell me about this book where you go into detail about TikTok in this generation TikTok and just the power of it?
Yes. So my first book was published by Hachette in 2021. I'm very proud of this first baby because it was the first book in the Francophone scene who talks about TikTok and his genesis. I explain how the application works, how the founders decided to own their competitors, which is Musical.ly at that time, and to make more revenue through the single one app, which is now TikTok in the global world. And as you can see, 5 years later, the app is a big phenomenon with more than 1 billion users. So there is nothing to say when it comes to the numbers because they became the number one destination, especially for Gen Zers. And the topic of this book was more to help brands, marketers, educators, but also students. I receive a lot of emails and message from different students from different parts of the world as well to explain them how this platform is so important. And it is. So yeah, that's the global description of the book, and it's only in French, unfortunately. But now, since I switched my language in English for years, it's also interesting to observe how TikTok is covered everywhere from different perspective and point of view as well. There is so many books on the topic right now with different lens, which gave the people the choice to decide which style they really want to read, right? So if you are more a journalist and you love the documentaries, or you want to have another point of view which is more political, you also have some reviews, some different books on this matter. Yeah.
Why is it important for you as a dark-skinned Black woman, proud Black woman? Why is it important for you to be authentic in these spaces, even in a world that doesn't want us to be authentic?
Oh, wow. That's a pure question. Because as a human being, I always think about my DNA and my story. So I think that it's very important to keep my agenda efficient, and something that I'm not going to deny, but something that I constantly feel proud about. So these parts led me to be authentic in the most part of my humanity and my personality as well. So being conscious about my roots, where I am from, encouraged me to be myself and to be more proud of my DNA and showing up on the workplace. So I can't be something else instead of being authentic.
So, last question. Reintroduce yourself to us. Who are you?
Oh, thank you so much. I'm an African woman, really proud of my DNA and my roots. I'm an explorer. I love life. I think I eat life. Um, I love to learn from different subculture, from different environment, um, and I'm proud of where I am, um, which encourage me constantly to shape uh, the industry where I working, uh, and also making myself fully happy every single day. It's not easy every day, I need to be honest, but I want to embrace joy, and I'm a pure believer and defender of Black joy. So, yeah, this is briefly who I am. And I'm also a mom, which is very important. My son is 9 years old. Uh, I was a teenager mom. I gave birth at 23. So I learned many things very young. So, yeah, that's who I am.
I am, like I said before, I am honored just to watch you from the United States. I am here to encourage, keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you.
The fact that you gave birth at 23, I gave birth last year in my 30s, and I am struggling. So the fact that you did that so early and you are
Yeah.
sane, girl, I give you all the
I
praise.
try
Thank you
to.
so much for being here.
Yeah. Thank you so much. I appreciate.